All right, today we're looking at one of the most highly requested triple crit damage weapons on my entire channel, and that is the Wraith. This weapon is requested almost as much as the bundle bus, and seeing as that's coming out later this season around May 24th, figured I'd make a video on that. That video will be going out around the bundle bus. I don't know when this one is going out, so if that video is out, then go check it out. If not, stay tuned, but today we're talking about the Wraith. This weapon is one of the most famous weapons in the game. It's one of the classic military weapons. It's a suppressed weapon. It's a fan favorite, but I've never been a fan because of two things: low fire rate and low accuracy. This weapon is really hard to control, it's really hard to use from a range, and it's just not the highest damage per second weapon. It hits really hard, as we'll see today, and it has Affliction, which basically makes any weapon good nowadays, but I've never been a fan for those two reasons. However, triple crit damage makes up for a lot. So for the loadout, we got Sledgehammer in the lead. How else are we going to get that 705% crit damage with honestly a pretty respectable 20% crit rating, because it is a suppressed military weapon, just like the Whisper 45 and the Sound Spectre. It has that base 20% chance. But we're going to be raising it with Totally Rocking Out, of course, and Battle Beat, of course, and Fumble, of course. I don't think we're going to need wafers on this one. I might regret that. We'll see. Assault damage and support. And then we got Assault ammo recovery, just so that we can shoot for longer. And then we got Locked and Reloaded, because honestly, there aren't that many ways to buff ARs. It might be worth it, especially Assault ammo recovery, to go with Crack Shot. I think that could be kind of fun, just to switch things up a little bit, because he will be upping our damage up until 50. I don't think we're going to quite get to 50, but it should still be worth it overall. If I can find him, then I'll go ahead and put him in my support, and let's just hop in game and get right into it. All right, our first victims. Now, warming up with this weapon might be a little tough. Like I said, without wafers, it's going to take a little bit of effort to get going, but as you can see, once Totally Rocking Out is active, things start dying very, very fast. With triple crit damage, you do a lot. All right, we got an encam in here, so I'm gonna have to again get things prepped. I'm really hoping for like a football or at least Battle Beat, whichever one happens sooner. As demonstrated, once we get going, it's just all dead from there. Everything goes down. It's not even difficult anymore. Super, super strong. Really, really, I love the sound of this weapon. I love the sound of it because it's actually super satisfying. Got one more holdout down here. Boop. Easy dead, and then Affliction just does the rest. All right, Smasher. I'm hoping I can get a Fumble football because I want to see how this thing does with the, higher crit chance. But without a Fumble football, we're going to have to do this the old-fashioned way, and that seems to be the way things are going. So imagine I'm critting like 3 times as often, and the Smasher would have been dead a while ago. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get too much epic gameplay, as we say, until I get the defense going, because that Totally Rocking Out is carrying a lot. All right, getting right into the defense. Let's see here. I'll show you guys what we got going on here. Yep. Boring builds there. Okay, so we got a couple Ceiling Electric Fields. These are just to get the basic zombies out of the way. I just want to activate Battle Beat as much as possible. Then I've got Tar Pits back here to stop any Smashers, because those are the targets that I'm actually going to need to be shooting at, because with a weapon like this, I'm going to be killing, as you can see, so fast that it doesn't even matter. Now, I have always dogged in this weapon for the reasons aforementioned. The fire rate's not that great. The accuracy at this range, you can see, is pretty unexceptional. But I feel like the triple crit damage series here is a great way to showcase where this weapon can be made really, really strong. Now, before I say the things I'm going to say, Totally Rocking Out, or any weapon with triple crit damage, is going to do amazing, especially with Totally Rocking Out. Totally Rocking Out makes pretty much any weapon look good. I've had people be like, "Beast, the Nailer's actually pretty strong. If you run it with these perks and Totally Rocking Out," I'm like, oh, I'm going to stop you there. The Nailer is not good. You're just using Totally Rocking Out. That makes anything good. And then I've had people argue with me where they say like, "Oh yeah, the accuracy is great. You just need to shoot a little slower." I'm like, no. If you shoot slower, you lose all your damage. Anyway, so I've always dogged in this weapon. But because it's a slower firing, higher single target, like single shot damage weapon, the triple crit damage is great because it takes advantage of that slow fire rate, and it takes advantage of that high single target damage by critting it as high as it goes. You can see I am knocking out Mist monsters with minimal help. Even with no teammates behind me, they are dying super fast. Anything I point at dies quickly, or that enemy like I just ignored or left behind there is going to die from Affliction. Like you can see, just leave it at 1 HP and they die. So it's a really, really strong combination for any weapon, but this weapon especially benefits greatly from the triple crit damage treatment. So this is actually really strong, and that's why I wanted to make the video on this, because not only have a lot of people requested it, but I have tried this out a long time ago. I try things out on stream. Not everything I check out for the first time is a video. And I tried it out on stream, and it did great. Like you just saw right there. Sometimes a crit from this weapon, especially with triple crit damage, is more than enough to take out an enemy in one shot. And that's what I was talking about, where the slow fire rate doesn't matter if regular Husks are dead in a single bullet. Then you aim for the head, and they just die super fast. Super fast. So it was a really satisfying experience. So even if I'm not ranking this weapon very highly in my other videos, and I'm not speaking very highly of it in my older videos, I obviously can see the merit. I mean, you can see it right in front of you. I am not denying that this is a crazy amount of damage. Anytime a taker is killed before it's able to reach you while flying at you, that's a good weapon. And even now, like when I'm shooting these enemies, they don't need to get hit more than once. They just die from affliction. Obviously, in that case, I would want to take out the propane as fast as possible. But look at that. It's so satisfying, right? Like, it's great. So much damage. And the Wraith can be any element. All of them. You know, all three of the basic elements. It can be energy, it can be physical. I don't recommend physical or energy, and I don't really recommend this for, like, Storm King, where physical would make sense. Not my cup of tea, but especially in the time that I'm recording this, the element for this season is nature. We are basically going to be getting nature-only 4X missions until June 21st, and that is why I'm using fire. You know, that's exactly why I'm using fire. I know my battle beat was running out for a second there, but it kind of doesn't matter. You can see anything getting close, you just take them out. I put all these tar pits down specifically for the bigger targets, but it's working great on these guys too. Yeah, it works great. And honestly, this might be one of my favorite weapons to just pull out, because I love the sound. I love the single target accuracy. The bloom is terrible. This weapon goes to crap after about 10 shots. I will admit it's fairly accurate after, for the first 10 shots or so. Then things start to get a little messy. And obviously moving around a lot is not helping this weapon. Crouching does help. It actually reduces your bloom a lot, so that can go a long way. But because of the way this weapon feels, I really enjoy it. I've always been a fan of the Silent Spectre, and even after solidifying the fact that the Thrasher is a higher damaging weapon than the Silent Spectre, I still use it from time to time because the Silent Spectre is super satisfying. Not to mention it has that excellent base 20% chance to crit, which is twice as much as the usual base 10%. And I didn't mention this earlier, but Boom Base was getting rammed by my teammates. So I was having a 37% chance to crit before totally rocking out. After totally rocking out, we're in the high 70s or mid 70% chance to crit. We are critting. 3 out of the 4 shots are going to be critting with totally rocking out and Boom Base. You can see I'm just killing everything easily. I am really hoping we get a nature or a physical mini boss that's not smokescreen or trap vulnerable, because I would love to actually do some good damage on it and see how well this weapon can perform, because this is a weapon that has really good DPS. You know, you can reload very fast, get right back into the fight, super reliable, and honestly a mini boss isn't going to be too far away. You get up close and personal, so it's not really going to matter if the bloom isn't so great. So let's see what kind of mini boss we get. Fire. All right, well that's fire versus fire. That's 67% of the damage, so I'm getting about a third of my damage taken off the top, which is definitely not what you want to see. Yeah, I'm kind of relying on my traps to activate Battle Beat. Not an incredibly impressive amount of damage. Obviously, I don't have War Cry. Let's see here. Let's reload that real quick. Pick up a Fumble Football, and then see. Yeah, that's really good damage, actually. Even doing a third less of my damage, you know, 67% of my total output, that's honestly pretty solid with totally rocking out active. It's a little difficult without my traps activating it all the time, but it's all right. If my teammates want to come in and help me, they are welcome to. I know a couple of them are watching the stream. Maybe they can hear that, but yeah, I'm honestly impressed with the damage of this weapon. All the things said, not to be repeated, I've already made my points, but it's nice to take a weapon that I never really had much faith in. I never really loved the numbers on it. I felt like it was a very overrated weapon in the community, and to find out that at least with this configuration, it is really not just good, but enjoyable. You know, it's a personal note, really like the feel of these weapons, these suppressed ones. It's super smooth, super clean. I feel like I'm just like, I don't know, it sounds weird to be like whispering the enemy, but it feels like a sneaky agent, you know, just using my suppressor, you know, knocking them out from a range. They can't even hear where I'm coming from. Obviously, that's all in my head, as this is not a multiplayer. This is not a multiplayer competitive experience. Anybody who would actually hear these gunshots are on my team, but it's a fun feeling, you know? It's fun to enjoy the weapon you're using. It's one of the reasons I've always liked the Farah loadouts, you know? Vacuum Tube Bow plus Stoneheart Farah. That is a combination, so yeah, if you guys haven't seen my recent vacuum tubo video with Rabbit Raider, link to that video down below. Super satisfying build. I even made a sister video to that with the Xenon bow. I don't know when this particular video is going out, so if those are somehow going out after this one, then stay tuned on the channel. Otherwise, link down below. You guys can check it out there. This is just going to be a single mission. I don't think there's necessarily a reason for a round 2. I could run this weapon with a different loadout, but then I'd run into the problems that I mentioned earlier, where I don't think this weapon is a weapon I usually want to use. So if you guys want to see more Wraith gameplay, I haven't done too many episode 2s for the triple crit damage weapons, but if you guys want to see it, let me know. If you ever want to see the Wraith used by me, just recommend it on the stream, Twitch link down below. I very much enjoy this weapon. As I've said, I'll probably be using it more in the future, and I think you should too. I was wondering where my battle beat went. It seems as though the flingers have taken out all my traps, so I'm gonna end this video about 30 seconds early. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe, Twitch link down below. I'll see you in the next one, and have a nice day.
And then